twice the maps, twice the great ones. I mean, twice 0 is still 0, and it's probably going to be more like twice the level 2 rares, but we're going to give it a shot. This will probably require some explanation for those that don't typically get to watch the Twitch streams, because on Friday's Twitch stream, we were basically having nothing happen here on Layton Lakes, and decided to go and check out Medved. Naturally, we shot a level 2 piebald, and now I'm not sure whether we should grind Layton or Medved, so today we're going to grind both, and just kind of see what happens. Anybody know if the red deer pop update can delete high level deer? It's a pop reset, so every animal on your map will be gone and replaced with a fresh population of animals, if that makes any sense. First time catching a stream, welcome on in, man. Hopefully this will be a good one, and hopefully we don't start by shooting a moose that is trying to duck his head down when we shoot. That's going to look a little bit better. And we're on our way. What's up, Stuart? Have you got a leucistic tufted duck? No. I think of, weirdly enough, of all the new duck species, the only rare I have is the leucistic female widgeon. I don't think I've got any of the other ones. What do I go for after getting the 7mm? No DLC. Well, the 338 would be a good thing to work towards. Maybe it wouldn't be a terrible idea to start on, if you haven't, shotgun score or handgun score. The 454 is nice to have, but as far as capabilities, it's kind of like a slightly more powerful, but also with slightly less range 7mm, so it's not a huge difference. I'm grumpy, and you know why? I do know why. Nice logo, by the way. Did you know there's a species of stag native to North Africa? I did not. Like an antlered thing? Is that what you're saying there? Anyone else's animals doing totally weird things, like disappearing? I can't say mine are. Mel, thank you for the 21 months. Welcome back. Getting close to 2 years indeed. It is reverse 12 day, by the way. As you can see. What great ones have you not got? Moose and black bear. Active Dragon with the 17 months. I guess today YouTube membership alerts are not going to work. I swear it just depends on the day, but almost 1.5 years. Certainly appreciated. Just playing multiplayer, and I thought I got a super rare, but there was, 9 level 9 gators all albino. I was so happy till I saw those. That's literally the worst. Like when you think you've got something amazing, only to find out that it is hacked in, modded in, whatever the appropriate term is. It's a thing with multiplayer. And, like, I've had it on plenty of occasions where the first thing, or one of the first things I run into when joining a new server, will be something good, whether it's just like a diamond or a rare or whatever. But now especially, as hacking and stuff has become so prevalent, I always feel like when I see that, I gotta start checking around and looking to see if there's more rares and diamonds and stuff spawning. I can see the sun glaring off his antlers, and he's definitely not that big. If I hit anything good, I'll be shocked, but as I said, not big, so not a big deal. The only service native to it. Okay, I'm gonna have to look into that. I did not know that was a thing. What's going on, Danny? Mira's in here as well. Got albino red deer. Very nice. Is your brother the Hunter DD33? No. I have heard that theory before. I don't know where it started from, but we're not related in any way. What the heck? Did we hard shot that? Hey, Space Cowboy. Love your videos. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. I am trying to grind caribou, and they troll a lot, so how can I tell if it'll be a diamond or not? It was double lung, I think that said. There are certain racks that, like, always make diamond, but at the end of the day, if you see a 5, I would just shoot it. Either way, you want the respawn, right? Multiple troll 5 meese lately making me sad. The meese are just bad about that. It seemed to me that with the New England update that also added the Great One Moose, something was done, and moose troll way more often. And I can't help but wonder if that was done kind of intentionally with the expectation / knowledge that the community was going to grind a bunch. Maybe the hope was to preserve the coolness of Diamond Moose to a degree. And I would kind of say they succeeded. Like, every time we get a level 5 moose that actually makes diamond, despite the fact that we've been grinding for a combined over 3,000 kills, it's actually kind of like encouraging. Like, hey, there's a diamond. We don't get them every day. Do you think Jordan Love's going to be a good quarterback? I think that it's hard to tell how good Matt LaFleur's offense is, because when you have Aaron Rodgers running an offense, he's going to make it look good. But if Matt LaFleur is the offensive genius that he's supposed to be, I think Jordan Love's at least going to look very good. Maybe some flaws will be hidden, but he can grow out of those / learn his way out of those. I expect him to do pretty well. You have a Leucistic Goldeneye male. Very nice. Is that what you got, Mel? You shot something like that. What map do you think they should add after Australia? I still think Africa 2.0 would be awesome. However, based on the comment that Jaxy made, it was something to the effect of, like, that will be... Oh, he said, how would they ever top it? So, making it sound like maybe that would be the last map they'd ever do. Assuming that we're not getting to the point that we'd see the last map ever in Call of the Wild. I want to see Greenland. I want to see muskox. I want to see caribou. Make them different than the current in-game caribou. Heck, caribou, great one, please. Can we? Maybe it's at the point then where they can do non-base games species great ones. I think all that stuff could be really cool. Hot Cross, what's going on, man? Thank you for the super chat. I have nothing to say, but here you go. Well, I certainly appreciate the support. Hope you're doing well. I want an Illinois map. That was something... Illinois, Iowa, Missouri, it didn't really matter to me where, but like a whitetail, I call them whitetail paradise or whitetail destination states. I wanted that for a long time in Call of the Wild. I wanted them to add like rutting behavior, they could really make whitetail the feature of the map, a snowy map that whitetail could be on, like cornfields, the whole thing, right? I just don't know now, with so many whitetail maps, with so many North America maps, could you add a map like that and have anything new other than like rutting behavior and stuff? I just don't know that it would be something that would really succeed because you look at New England. I think it's pretty well agreed upon. New England is a bit of a flop, and I'm sure they wouldn't want to do that again with another North America map. I think we're just... No, we did get him in the lungs. I thought we whiffed on that. Anything but an Ohio map. Ohio doesn't exist. Should do an IRL fishing stream. If I could find a way, because to the best of my knowledge, streaming over mobile data is not always the most solid, especially in areas like this where the connection's not that good. If I could find a way to do it, that'd be fun. You still want Greenland? I'd like Greenland. Will you be live Wednesday? Wednesday night, 7:30 p.m. Eastern over on Twitch. We'll be doing a classic stream indeed. We'll see what happens. I want to do at least one semi-lengthy grinding stream this week, especially because, at least last we heard, there will be no Expansive World stream, so I'm not going to be like rushing around like crazy on Tuesday and then behind for Wednesday and all that stuff. I want to just give it one really solid chance, 6 hours, 8 hours, whatever it is, grind moose, see if we can luck into a great one before the Emerald Coast. And maybe we get it today. 2 maps, who knows, maybe it works, but if I don't end up getting to do that stream, which it wouldn't shock me because I get videos done and stuff, it always is later than I expect, there will still be that classic stream at 7:30 p.m. Eastern regardless. Okay, I gotta go back for alerts. We have Danny with the super chat, thank you so much. Do you think Australia will impact what Way the Hunter's next map is? If I know anything about game development, Way the Hunter's next map has probably been in development since February, so no. Is you the Graves who is making the, Codex thing? I don't know what to call that. Thank you for becoming a Shusty. Welcome, welcome. Good to have you here. Gonna be grinding until around 9 a.m. tomorrow. I started at 5 p.m. today. That's whack. I haven't had a grinding session for Moose longer than probably 8 hours. That is a long time. Why am I not excited for Emerald Coast and I'm Australian? It feels like it's getting blown out of proportion. It could be the case because, like for me, any North America map, other than Layton because it's got a nostalgia factor, any North America map that's like semi-close to where I live, I'm less interested in. I would actually say a lot of community members really like when maps like from where they live are added, but for me it's just kind of like, I can see this in real life. One of the cool things about hunting games is they allow you to do things you wouldn't otherwise be able to do. Could be an Africa map good for views and Way the Hunter? I'd say so. Let me guess, you live in Colorado. Me? Nope. I'm in Pennsylvania. That is a melanistic moose. And a big one, up to 2. I mean, it's I think the same rack as the melanistic we have. But it's a good one. 225, he'll probably score 225. And he's, of course, facing... What is going on? Why I guess because we've alerted one? And the Mela just does not care. Okay, well, let's just, alert him. I'm trying to make a good shot on him. Alarmed? And dead. That guy. I think there was a lung shot in there. There was. And 1 or 2 bulls got away.
Smell like pudding.
But I don't really care. Great one this run. Dude, I mean, we just shot... Do we know? Yeah, we do have... That's insane. So, what would it have been? A week and 3 days ago today, we shot an albino bull moose, our first rare of the Layton grind. He scored like 91. And then a week ago today, I think, we shot a gold piebald. And now today, a definite gold melanistic. Also in there we had Hunter Chess redoing your Shusty membership. Welcome back. Certainly appreciate it. No way you were just that casual about a nice Mela? I guess it's because I've been like... I don't know. What's the correct word? I've gotten the short end of the stick from Layton. Look at that. To almost have... There's no way. He's got like orangish yellowy eyes. To almost have that? I like that. It looks really nice. Alright. Been itching for a Mela Moose? We had one on Yukon, almost exactly the same size in the Hunter Power Pack early access that we shot that we didn't get to keep. So this one, we will be keeping 555 kilo, 225 score, heart and left lung. Almost shot too low for the heart, but that's pretty cool. We will take that any day of the week. Just gonna go ahead and send that off to the Trophy Lodge. So there you go. Begs the question once again, should we grind Layton? Should we grind Medved? They've been having a little rare fight lately. We had the tiny little albino and then the gold piebald. Went to Medved, got another piebald, back to Layton, got a melanistic. So I guess Medved's gonna have a great one for us, right? When we go there in a little bit. Big male. You like that rack? Unfortunately, all of our biggest rare moose, other than the big piebald that we killed on the Medved grind, have that exact same rack. Literally all of them. Grind Rancho for moose? That's a good idea. Don't think I've ever grinded anything. I just like wandering and shooting what I see. Honestly, that's my preference. And having shot the 2 diamond geese that I was missing on Revan Thule is something we'll get to do a little bit more now because I've done nothing in the last month but grind geese, basically. I haven't even been grinding for moose. So I'm looking forward to more wandering hunts. Grind Revan Thule Coast? I have considered it. We shall see. Graves, thank you for the super chat as well. Much appreciated. Very much appreciate the support. On average, how long does it take to get a Great One Moose? I don't know if I have a good guesstimation on that. For a lot of species, well, a lot being, I guess, the other 3, I feel like I have an idea. For whitetail, it seems like most people get a great one within about 1,500 kills, or that's the average. I shouldn't say most people do. The average seems to be 1,500 kills. Red deer's maybe 1,800 to 2,000, but they've been herd managed to the point that people get them maybe more often than whitetail, which begs the question, does herd management affect great ones? I honestly have no idea, but there's a little bit of make me wonder when I see like what goes on with the red deer and how many great ones show up. Black bear are way above that. The average is way higher. Moose, I think, falls somewhere between red deer and black bear. I think they're more rare and on average require more kills than red deer, but a good bit less than black bear. Maybe 2,500? What do you guys think? Max 4K is pretty normal. If that means we're getting a great one moose in under 1,000, I will be mucho pleased. The ones over there are going to hear this. Okay, so we got the 2 big ones. He was stuck for just a second. Nope. I tried. Just shot a diamond moose? There you go. Do you watch NASCAR? I don't know that I've ever watched more than a couple of laps of NASCAR when it randomly was on before changing the channel. Me with like 10k moose now and only got 1 great one moose, I probably shouldn't get my hopes up then, thinking less than 4,000. 500 to 1,500 on average? I don't know how many moose, maybe that's his average, but I think the community average is definitely way higher. I mean, you've got Mel going up to almost 8,000 to get one. I'm over 3,000 and haven't gotten one. I think that's fairly normal. I don't think Mel's 7,000 is normal either. That was definitely on the high end, but to be honest, I don't pay as much attention to Great One stuff anymore. And Great Ones are, I think, more people grind for them than ever. They're probably more popular than ever, and therefore more and more get posted to where it's harder for me to be like, okay, the last one I saw, that guy had like a 2,200 kill grind. The one before that was maybe 2,400. There's dozens in the community every week. I just don't get to keep track. Any big ones? We just shot a nice Mela. 225, I think he scored. That was a nice little gift from Layton before we head over to Medved for the next run. That's a pretty big jump, Pizza. Good job. Is there going to be any W stream tomorrow? Last we heard, there is not. I don't know why. Maybe Beard said he's going to be away or something, but... Oh, it's a holiday. So, no AW stream. Therefore, easier day for me for once. The amount of rushing around that goes into making those videos those days is quite comical if you got to watch it. So it'll be nice to kind of chill. If things really go well, I might do a fairly lengthy stream either tomorrow or Wednesday, but we'll see. What's the biggest moose score you've ever seen? So it doesn't have to be one I've shot. Well, so this is going to require a lengthy answer. If you want the biggest one I've shot, it's 300.5, I think. The biggest I've ever seen is in the area of 302, except this same rack that now scores about 302 as a max, for some reason it used to score like 316. They changed moose scoring just a little bit, and it used to be possible for them to score just slightly higher. Got an albino and diamond raccoon dog while grinding for lowland birds. Nice. Was the albino good sized? Calling a great one on Medved. I like the idea of Layton and Medved fighting back and forth to be like, no, stay here. So Layton gave me a couple of rares, then we went to Medved, it got us a rare. Back to Layton, it got us a really nice rare. So like, Medved's only way to one-up it is to give us a great one, right? That was far. I shouldn't even shot that. It's going to take so long to track down. I think we got it, but... Hey, well. How's the grind going? Honestly, diamond numbers are still pathetic. Between Medved and Layton, 3,000 plus kills, we maybe have 8 diamonds. It's pretty slow for that, but again, Layton and Medved combined, and I say that because last Friday on stream, we did like 1 Medved run or maybe 2, and killed, I don't know, 20 moose on Medved, not many. But we did kill a piebald on that run, and in our previous couple of Layton runs, we started to kill some rares as well. I would imagine, combined in the last 200 kills, we've had actually all 3 possible rares, albino, 2 piebalds, and a melanistic. One of the piebalds and the mellow that we just shot here on stream were golds as well. Riventuli's also calling you, you've got a few rares there? This is true. This is very true. So does that mean we should just go to Yukon? Would you be disappointed if you found a super rare? Not like super bum, but salty, it wouldn't be the great one. No, I'm gonna feel bad because I know Mel had the troll super rare, but for me, I think it's probably fairly well accepted. Super rares are far more rare than great ones. Now, it's not the thing that I'm after, and it would be a little bit of, I would definitely say, like, really, I can have this happen, but I can't get the great one to spawn? But in a way, it would almost be more of like a, what's that? The term I'm looking, pride and joy in the trophy lodge type of thing than the great one would be. Why must you hurt me in this way? Skill issue, I think. No. Go to New England? I don't want to do that. Do you think animals with horns should fight each other? I think it would be a lot easier, at least, say bison, animals with small horns. It would be a lot easier for the devs to give animations and stuff to that without having extreme clipping. One thing I remember was Deer Hunter 2005, and I don't even know if it was a mod or if it was possible in the game, but when deer would fight in that game, the antlers would just kind of mesh through each other, which is fine, like it looks okay from a distance, but in a modern hunting game with everything going on, if you had two elk fighting and their antlers were just clipping through each other, it would be like, this isn't realistic. So, take bison, where their horns are really not going to clip through anything. I think that'd be awesome. The problem is, you can only see that kind of stuff so many times, because they can't do infinite animations. You're just going to start to see the same animations replay, which you see in other stuff too, but when it's a particular notable event, it sticks out more. So it might be best not to have it, but I'd like to see it. When are you going to go hunt IRL again? I liked the first video, I'd like to see more. Out of curiosity, what do you mean by first video? Because I have like, I don't know, 50 or so videos on the channel of hunting. That said, as far as when the next IRL hunting video is going to drop, in the next week or two anyway, that's the plan. I should do a turkey hunting video, that needs to be done, and then I've got a whole bunch more from deer season. Every deer hunting video from here on out will have at least one kill. I think 2 of them will have 2. One of those videos that has 2 is one of mine and one of my brothers. The other ones is just me. I shot many deers in rifle season on film. So like the dino fights in Jurassic World Evolution, they're all the same pretty much. Dino fights. I guess I haven't seen those yet. How many moose have you killed in Layton? A little over 1,600 on Layton, a little over 1,400 on Medved. You haven't made Layton Hunter content in 2 weeks? Yeah, that was a cool gobble. I actually took that side of my headset off to scratch my ear just then, so maybe it sounded normal, but to me that sounded different. Anyway, Way the Hunter stuff. I was really excited to make some content on it because they released albino bison and melanistic Alaska moose. However, there's a bug thing that came with that update that when you turn, it's like really jittery and just doesn't look good. And it's been bugging me. No pun intended. I'm hoping they fixed it, but I'll probably end up doing Way the Hunter this weekend if they don't fix it, because I know with Emerald Coast on the way, probably end of the month if EW follows their normal release schedule, we won't be getting to play Way the Hunter as much, and I'd like to put some time in over on Way the Hunter as well. If I could remove one thing from the game, it would be the fog. I guess it's realistic, but it definitely, when you're trying to, even if you're not trying to grind, but especially grinding, it hinders things more than helps. How many great ones do you have? Just 2. 1 whitetail, 1 red deer. I got trolled 4 times during my great one grind. I don't know how many troll meese we have, but it's a lot. When is Call of the Wild the Angler coming to PS5? Great question. I actually have a little story for that too. It's supposed to be this summer. Now, does that mean, what, the first day of summer is in 3 weeks? Or the last day of summer is in 3 months? Somewhere in that time frame, we have no indication as to when this summer it'll be. I attempted to, this weekend, instead of the Verhunga video that you may have saw yesterday, the original plan was to try to catch Sidewinder, the legendary lake trout, in Call of the Wild the Angler. I've been very surprised to see how many views the legendary fish videos are getting, and I don't know if it's because more people want to go and catch them, if more people are intrigued. Maybe it's the tutorial side, I don't know, but it's cool that people are interested in the game, and I wanted to keep making content on that. And I really want to catch that. That's the biggest fish in the game at the moment. I spent 4 hours. Never got a bite. I don't know where he was, but it wasn't where I was fishing at. So anyway, next time he spawns, maybe we'll get him. Are you excited for Emerald Coast? Very, especially now that we're technically missing a diamond widgeon, but I'm not too worried about that. We have all the diamonds in the game that I was concerned about getting before the update. I'm basically like ready to go. Can't wait for the new map and the opportunity to hunt for more diamonds we don't have. Graves, thank you for the super chat once again. Really appreciate the support. But to put a bow on the Emerald Coast question, there's a lot coming with that update beyond just the map. Obviously, Great One Fallow, lots of people are excited for that. One thing that I kind of think maybe isn't getting enough attention is Trurak, Springbuck, Euro Bison, and Plains Bison. I think that's going to be really cool. What's that other moose back there? Probably another cow. I'm missing the bull here too. There's the blood. I don't know where he went. Is Caldwell the Angler better than Fishing Planet? I'm the wrong person to ask. I've never played Fishing Planet. I will be the first to tell you that Caldwell the Angler is relatively bare bones in terms of like mechanics and animations and stuff so far. It's got a long way to go until it's up there with like the top fishing games in the genre, so Fishing Planet, Russian Fishing 4, to the best of my knowledge, those games are kind of more realistic at the moment. I do think Caldwell the Angler's probably got the potential to surpass them, but it will be a while. Did the stream freeze? Everything's fine on this end. How many maps are on Hunter Caldwell the Angler? Oh, wait. How many maps are on Caldwell the Angler? Right now, I think just 2. Really enjoy bison hunting in game. I think the models and animations are nice. The fact that you can, like, there are species that no matter what, you're gonna find a bunch of and it's gonna be fun. You gotta appreciate that, because I think of the fox grind and stuff, how few we ever found. When you're hunting bison, you're gonna get a bunch of bison. YouTube is needing my super chats. It's a conspiracy to protect the red teal. I forgot I was recording right up until time to stream, but I can get you a screenshot of one if you haven't found one by the end of the stream or whenever you're done looking. Have we been to all the spots? We have. The only thing that maybe we could check here again, and if there's nothing there, we'll go to Medved. We'll just go back and forth today. Do you go fishing in real life? Because I would love those videos. I do. I don't do a lot of fishing for stuff that would make the most entertaining videos. What I've done a lot here lately is just fishing in the creek that runs through our front yard here. And this year, the only thing that's been in it is creek chubs. Now, last year, there were a bunch of stocked rainbows. They don't stock this stream, so I don't know who put them in there. But there were a bunch of rainbows that we were catching, and that was a good time. The creek chub thing, though, I've been learning to fly fish, and it turns out they are a great little, like, you know, practice fly fishing type of fish to go after. So I've been doing a lot of that. I'm thinking here on Father's Day we're doing a little bass fishing trip, but we'll see. Hunt Cross, thank you again for the super chat. Appreciate the support. We were here already, weren't we? We were. I'm from Sweden. Would love to see a Swedish map. So where's Reventuli? Technically, that's Finland. Guess we'll go here. That's how I know I'm a bad grinder. I don't kill enough at my spots to relieve pressure at other spots. One kill over zone makes it harder than you'd think. Oh yeah, like, I remember with the whitetail grind originally. The heck are you doing hiding back in there? I almost didn't even see you. Hold on. Okay. So until I don't know that I came up with a tripod idea. I may well have. Until I started placing tripods, I was running into that issue, and I would go and shoot like ducks, whatever I could get in other places quickly. And this was at a time when there weren't whitetail spawning down here, and there were loads of ducks here, so you could do it pretty quick. But it was a thing in grinding to like clear hunting pressure. Fly fishing's so addictive, it's the best. I love fly fishing. If we had more trout in this stream, I probably wouldn't have all the diamonds on Reventuli yet, because I would have spent more time fishing this spring. But I did go with Beeg, one of my moderators. We went to a little spot, did some native trout fishing, fly fishing obviously. Technically caught my first couple of trout on dry flies. I had caught one trout on a nymph last year. The rest of the trout that I caught were on spinning tackle last year. This year got to catch a couple. I say technically because... Oh! Wow. Who did that? Not you? Somebody did it. Anyway. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. It was a dropper rig, which if you don't know what that is, it's a dry fly that then has a nymph tied to it, so you're kind of fishing both, but almost every fish I caught was on the dry fly. Everybody not knowing what that was, that is a Twitch sound that you can play during my Twitch streams to try to scare me. For whatever reason, the sound is still active despite the source not being active in OBS, so it plays during YouTube streams, and it definitely doesn't disturb anything. Say bye to my eardrums? Yeah, for real. Going fly fishing this year when I turned 14. What's your favorite fly? Winged ants do amazing around here for almost anything. Now, I can't promise that's going to work well for you, but every trout that I caught on dry flies that I just talked about there when I went with my moderator Beeg, I think every single one, those run the winged ants. And most of the creek chubs I get here are winged ants. Do you prefer this game or Way the Hunter? I'd say I probably prefer this game, but one of the factors to consider...
Skill issues.
...is that... Yeah, I don't have enough skill for Way the Hunter. Is that, there's... I would say 3 or 4 times more species and like 6 times more maps in this game, so the variety definitely gives Call of the Wild the edge. I do think Way the Hunter is a more realistic hunting game, but there's a reason Call of the Wild is the most popular hunting game out there. Now, part of it is accessibility. Way the Hunter's only on PC and the newer gen consoles. Part of it is, I think, Call of the Wild has just perfectly struck the balance between realism and fun. And as much as sometimes I'm more interested in a challenge and want to go and play Way the Hunter, I think for most people the way Call of the Wild's done is pretty good. Saw you on the Hunter Classic. We were indeed recording for some Let's Go trophy hunting again this week. New great one, Fallow Rex. You know when Classics April Fool's event had that T-Rex walking around a couple maps? Imagine going around Call of the Wild and you just hear like distant thumping, and then all of a sudden your screen starts to bounce a little bit. That'd be terrifying. Call of the Wild is too popular, hard for young content creators trying to do Way the Hunter and such instead. It's not a bad way to go though, to like kind of embrace the newer game and try to make more of a name for yourself in that. What's up, Jeff? My TV fell due to a great one fallow T-Rex? That'd be awkward. What do you reckon the great one after fallow will be? If they're gonna keep sticking with the base game theme, probably Roosevelt elk? Blacktail would be the only other one that I could kind of see making sense. Random, but I love the backing track you have running. Well, thank you. It's probably like 45 minutes of very similar music, just kind of looped over and over. It's worked for streams for a long time. Growing pretty fats? I'm sure that's what you meant to say. How many zones should I have for a Roosevelt grind? I'm not one who counts zones and stuff. I honestly don't quite know what the point of that is. I'm sure there is a reason for it, I just don't know. What I would say is, in the way that I've always done grinds, is you want as many, I'm gonna say locations more than zones, and I'll come back to that, but you want as many locations as you can get to during the drink time period. So for moose, for instance, because they drink from 12 to 1600, but they really, most moose don't get to their zones till 1400, I want as many spots as I can get to in about 30 minutes, that real-time window that I can actually hunt them in their drink zones. The reason for that is, I want to be able to kill as many moose as possible, and the amount of zones doesn't necessarily matter. And the reason I say that is because, I mean, we look here, what we actually have is 1, 2, 3, 4, and gonna be 5 moose drink stones. Whenever we spot these ones here, and they get into the zone, they have to have a zone over there. I guess we just deleted it at some stage. There's 5 zones here, but it's 1 spot. We can go through all 5 of those zones really fast. So I don't know that having a certain number of zones matters. It's just getting to as many locations as you can get to during their time. You don't do this, but I feel like some gamers forget that not everyone gets to play more than a couple hours a week, if that. Hard to compare games when you don't know the style of each gamer. That, as far, I don't know if you're talking about Way the Hunter versus Call of the Wild, but that definitely is something to consider. And if that is what you mean, with Way the Hunter, you absolutely have to put in a good bit of time. If you want to get a bunch of 5 stars and stuff, you simply have to pass time in game so that the animals age. Not everybody can do that. Everybody that can play an hour of video games a week can get on Call of the Wild and have a chance at a random respawn being a great one. Now, Way the Hunter, you can just play multiplayer. That does give you a fresh spawn of animals every time, but I would argue that's not necessarily the way the game was meant to be played. I think they might do a Hogzilla for the next great one. I'm trying to figure in my head. The pattern was Layton, Hirschfelden, then 2 Laytons, then Hirschfelden. If we're just looking at the Bates game map where the great ones are available. I think I'd do Hirschfelden again. And if so, Hogzilla would make a lot of sense. I would like that. I actually think a great one road deer would be cooler, but the Hogzilla idea has been something that's been thrown out there for years, and I've always thought it would be cool. Hope they do more backfilling like Black Bear on Yukon. I have, for the longest time, wanted, I don't even care where, but a map with multiple bear species, and Yukon has always made the most sense. I just think it'd be really cool. It's kind of a missed opportunity that we don't have that. Euro Bison, great one. I have the concern that if they did a bison great one, they might be kind of grinded by running after them because they're so slow, just running and shooting tons of them, and that might not be the best thing that they'd want. I could be wrong. I just think about the way that would likely go. Did we hit the bull? No, we hit the cow. It's really hard, but sometimes if you time when they flee just right, you can get the shot to, like, you pull the trigger when the cow's still in the way, but it lands when the cow is left. Didn't work that time. Saw a Ron vid where he thinks it's going to be a boar as well, but it's because of Pixie W posted the other day. Oh, they were at, or it wasn't even they, it was like one of the team members was at some, I don't even know what they were at, some kind of event. I do know what you're talking about. It's a 239 at 580 kilo. That's really low scoring for that size, weight-wise. You grind bison with an ATV? That's kind of what I'm getting at. I wasn't certain you'd be able to keep up with bison on an ATV. I think you can. What about Kodiak bear being out of the Yukon? Realistically, the grizzlies they've done are more like Kodiaks. Why don't you use a face cam? I don't want to scare everybody away. It'd be really sad. I'm not someone who reacts very strongly to much of anything. So I don't think a face cam would add a whole lot to these streams. So I feel like, if anything, it's just kind of something in the way. Only great one bison I'd be interested in is that one American buffalo Steve Ranella wrote about. I would have to look into that. Do you know when early access will be? I don't. Realistically, the grizzlies look bad. If they're going for Kodiaks, I don't think they're that bad. They could be better, but I've never thought they were as bad as a lot of people think. Got attacked by an aggressive capercaillie on an ATV. I was dead when I came back. Wait. I didn't know they'd attack you on an ATV. Wolves used to do that very soon after Yukon Valley came out. I don't know who discovered it. It may have been G-Man, it may have been someone else, and then just G-Man and I went and messed around with it. But I remember zipping around through the dead forest area of Yukon, and if you just stayed on your ATV for long enough, inevitably a pack of wolves would eventually just start chasing you. Do you want doll sheep on Yukon? Yes. I feel like doll sheep on Yukon has been a major miss this entire time. A bighorn great one? If that gives them reason to redo the diamond bighorn horns, then I'm all for it. Why is everyone so worried about great ones? I'd rather have no great one with an update and new antlers or horn species. I think, like it or not, EW themselves have embraced the concept of adding great ones to the game, and great ones being the most sought after thing and all that good stuff. I'm probably more in the same camp as you, though part of it definitely is the fact that there's a couple of great ones I don't yet have, and it's maybe gives me a chance to get caught up if they don't add a new great one with an update. However, it has taken a huge chunk of the community by storm, and people do love to grind for them. I think people love to watch grinds for them. I'm not too shocked that it's become like the thing everybody wants to see and talk about. Is this a hidden lake right here? It kind of imagine there's a great one standing there. I just saw this big vast area, so the map kind of doesn't display them well. Let's get up to this edge just in case, because it sure looks like a hidden lake. I don't see anything there. I guess not. Part of the map looks weird. Alright, we went here last time, there was nothing, we'll still check. Grinding for great ones is habitual, and that's why it's so easy for people to do compared to running and gunning and seeing what you can find. I think it's habitual, but I also think there's I don't know if it's competitiveness, I don't know what it is. There's something about, at least from my perspective, there's something about like trying to kill as many great ones as you can that for some reason is like a status symbol. Does that make sense? Is the 303 the best for moose? I would say the 300 is the best moose gun. The 338 also does decently well. The two hidden lakes next to the skull have been kind to me on Medved. Two of them. So I have... Oh, is there one here? That may explain why I've always seen stuff there. So I have this one. Is that where the other one's at? Where am I even going? I forget. Okay. Carrot on stick effect? Maybe that makes more sense. Just found my first level 1 moose. It's always a sign of good things when you find a level 1. Not a hidden lake. Okay. I need to find where the second one is then. Nobody else here? The last spot, I can't remember, I think we killed them both. It had 2 bulls on Friday. Can a level 5 moose make diamond? Yes. Level 5 moose, for the past like 6 months or so, seem like they're more likely to troll than make it, but some can make it. It is a hidden lake for you. I've never had a single thing drink in there ever. It's going back and forth. That's the spot you're talking about, though, Bree? The, like the specific... Right there? I used to have a bunch of bears and stuff there. Map differences be wild. Now I've really got to go check it. Got my first Lucista Cape Buffalo today. Very nice. I love the look of them. I think they're very cool. Can level 6 moose make diamond? If you find a level 6 moose, you've done something really special. Although level 6 mule deer were a thing for a while. Is stacking or herd management better for a whitetail grind? Are you asking one or the other? Because stacking is an attempt to make herd management more effective or something. I think it's supposed to make more small males spawn that you can then shoot to make more big males spawn or something. I tried to grasp the concept of it so I could see why people did it. I don't know if I understand it correctly, though. So... okay. There should be like 10 moose here. And they're all gone. Graduate on Friday. Nice. You have a level 6 mule deer? Same here. There were 7s too. I never got a 7. Don't stack, it's stinky. What great ones have you gotten? I have a great one whitetail with the big rack and a great one red deer, I think with the medium rack or possibly small rack. It's 260 something. I enjoyed your Diamonds, Rares, and Trophies video on Saturday. I love an albino anything. Diamonds, Rares. Are you talking about when I used to do the weekly highlights videos? Or specifically Saturday's video with the diamond geese? Meese missing from zones? I think when you're grinding for anything, that's kind of expected to happen. And I probably make a bigger deal out of it than I should, but when we got the great one whitetail that I just referenced, that happened. There were just whitetail missing all over the place. Right now, hunting for the great one moose, and I'm trying to get a practice shot on a moose with a 454 pistol. Shooting for the lungs, but it's saying it's not a vital hit. Is it hitting the lungs? Are level 2 male red deer rare? I don't know that they're rare. I do actually see a lot of level 2 male red deer compared to, say, level 1 moose or whatever. They are the lowest possible level for a red deer, though. Or a red deer male. Alright, I think we determined last time bulls were only spawning on this end. Could you start a new beginner series? I'm gonna do another one probably at the end of the year. Usually about every 2 years is when I do it, and the last one was November-ish of 21? Bull moose are in fact spawning here. I can tell you that much for sure. Congrats on the Ribbon 2 lead diamond geese. Well earned. Well, thank you, man. I really appreciate it. I wish I could have had the, like the live reactions of seeing the 5s, but when you're just grinding like that for hours on end, recording the entire time is kind of pointless. That guy we didn't even need to shoot yet. He was far enough away, but I think we got them all anyway. 11k into my red deer great one grind. Absolute torture. I can only imagine. I got halfway there, and fortunately, my great one red deer showed up, but I know it was torture at that point. What do you think of the angler right now? I'm really not a good person to ask, and the reason is I don't play other fishing simulator games. I wouldn't say that I only play Call of the Wild the Angler because, and it's an EW game, but to some degree, like it was a fishing game that I could, I guess, kind of get into from the beginning and therefore not feel way behind. I don't know if that's going to make sense, but like if I started playing Fishing Planet now with all the DLCs and all the everything that's in the game, I would just feel like almost overwhelmed by information and stuff. With Call of the Wild the Angler, it was new. It felt like accessible, I guess. So, I say I'm not a good person to ask because I've really never played any other fishing games and I don't have a good comparison. I enjoy the game, but I do think it's pretty bare bones as far as mechanics and stuff. Like, the rod doesn't always bend the way it should. You really don't get punished for, like, leaving or losing tension on the line when you've got a fish on. I think, especially if it's, say, a legendary or something, if you lose tension on the line for more than a couple of seconds, it should just get off. Stuff like that. Our level 2 male red fox hard to find? Fairly hard to find. What's harder to find is level 1 male red fox. Those actually exist, believe it or not. Have you done wait, what? Have you done the player survey that EW put out? Is there a new one? Should make baseball cap merch? We do. If you go to, I think it's in the description, there should be an Etsy page. We have camo 12 hats and orange 12 hats. They're basically hunting hats with a 12 on it. If you watch any of my real life hunting videos from the last couple of years, I will have a 12 hat on. And I do like them. Should do a Reventuli multiplayer on controller video. Oh my god, I can play Reventuli multiplayer now, you're right. I should definitely do that. I don't know about controller, we'll see. But I should definitely do Reventuli multiplayer. I don't know that I can use my controller now because Shadow ate the cord that I used to use for it. Need more merch. I got too big for my large shirts, unfortunately. Schuster, shoot. Big males. Big, I don't know. I don't think we'll go all the way over there. There used to be zones here. I don't know that there still are. Might as well go to some other spots. Where did we kill that rare? I think it was here. That little piebald. Is there a Gemsbuck on the Hall of Shame? If there's not, I've killed Hall of Shame Gemsbuck that I would intend to put in there. That's the problem, much like in yesterday's video. A lot of times if we kill a Hall of Shame animal, we may also in that video kill a diamond or a rare or something that I want in the main lodge. And a lot of times I won't visit 2 lodges for the sake of not making the end of the video 5 minutes long. And fairly often I forget to ever put them there. What I miss, we actually killed a really nice melanistic. It was 225 score over on Layton. We're basically going back and forth today. So we started on Layton, shot, I don't know, 15 moose or so, including that melanistic. Now we're on Medved. We will eventually get this run done, go back to Layton, and probably end on Medved. It's big sad when the bull you're trying to shoot at's so small, you think the cow is it. We had the time to line up the lung shot, but I got my crosshairs on the wrong animal. That'll make it dead. Schuster shoots, big male's big, all-time quote. Put that on a t-shirt. What about a caribou great one? As I was saying earlier, I really want a Greenland map. I think muskox, would it be... It wouldn't be barren ground caribou up there, or would it? Maybe it would be. Either way, muskox, do a different kind of caribou than what we have on Yukon. Arctic fox, at least, I think could fit, if not Arctic wolves. You could do some ptarmigan species. And then, if you really wanted to get people to hunt it, I think Great One caribou would be, in the same way that I think a Great One mule deer would be awesome, Great One caribou would be awesome. Swiss moose had 3,600 kills and no mellas. What am I at? 3,100 maybe, and finally got one. Saw some moose in real life the other day, a cow and 2 to 3 calves. That's cool. How many calves does like a typical cow moose have? Because I know for whitetail, normally it's 2 fawns. Every now and then it's 3. For some reason around here it's 1. I don't know why, but all the does here just have 1 fawn. Great One pheasant. I don't know that you could make really any bird or small game animal in Call of the Wild special enough to, say, put beside a Great One moose or Great One bear, whitetail, whatever, and really honestly say like, yep, these things are the same level of cool. That might be tough for the devs to pull off. If they had a way to do it, I think that'd be a lot of fun. I think they couldn't be herd managed. I think they'd be really rare. I think I'd never get one, but you know, it'd be neat to see. When are you going to continue the bear grind? I'm going to be really optimistic here. Let's say that somehow we get a Great One moose before the Emerald Coast comes out, right? Probably not going to happen, but it could happen. If that does indeed occur, where am I trying to go here? There was, oh, down here I wanted to get to. There's a couple of spots we missed last time. If that actually happens, we would then maybe do a little bear grinding in the lead up to Emerald Coast if there was time. But probably, Emerald Coast comes with the Great One fallow deer. We would first focus on trying to get a Great One fallow deer, because I do think with reasonable time put in, that should be pretty achievable. If we get a Great One fallow deer, then we'll go to Great One black bear if we already have the Great One moose. If we don't, it's going to be Great One fallow deer, I really feel we can get that relatively quickly because fallow deer are so easy to grind on tail row, as we just displayed a week ago yesterday. Then moose, then black bear. Now, I may do a little bit of bear grinding here and there in between, but not much. Bear is as boring as a pheasant great one. I don't know. To me, I think the bear great ones are really cool. Now, part of it is how rare they are. They're probably the only really special great one at this moment based on, again, herd management and numbers of great ones killed. But, I think they look really unique. I don't know that you can do that with a pheasant as well. Oh, wait, hold on. We got two things here. I wish in Call of the Wild that all animal pops would be reset after so many weeks, like every 2 weeks. I've suggested a similar thing, actually. Or after so many hours played in single player per map, like 20 hours per map. More randomness and reduced grinding, and the I have 30 plus great ones. So depending on how it works, it might actually end up with more great ones. Just if there's resets, I guess that's a random chance for a great one to spawn. I've tried many times to come up with a perfect solution to the randomness thing. And I'll come back to that in a second because Sweetness coming in with the super chat. What's going on, man? Appreciate the support. Hope you're doing well. All is going well on this side of things. We actually killed a melanistic moose today, so we're chilling. Quite literally chilling here on Medved Taiga, but good to see you again. Glad you could stop in. To jump back to that real quick. Because Call of the Wild maps are so big, it's not feasible to do a fresh spawn of animals every time, like Classic does. Because you wouldn't see 85-90% of that population. You would play for your hour or two, turn the game off. 90% of those animals are never going to be seen, they disappear. What you're suggesting there, though, kind of kills two birds with one stone. I wouldn't mind that. Haven't seen an initial spawn great one in a while. I don't know where it was. Might have been my chat streaming Farming Sim yesterday. It might have been in the Fabled Ones chat. Somewhere I saw a discussion about initial spawn great ones and that I guess they're still happening here and there. Tried for the hard shot. Got a lung. Where's that other guy? There he is. We are all mellow moose. At heart, we're all a mellow moose. Maybe any given animal could have a 10% chance of dying every time the game closes or something? I don't hate that idea, but definitely what that invites. Because the game does have a tendency to be a little unstable at times, game crashes and stuff. Someone losing a great one or a super rare or something to a game crash because they're like stocking up to it and the game crashes and then it dies. And then a lot of complaints. And I get the impression based on EW's general kind of like approach to stuff, they really try to avoid like getting themselves into a position where they're going like through their games and stuff that they're going to cause people to be upset. We need a roe deer great one? I think a roe deer great one would be awesome. I think they could be with, you know, the furs and the antlers and stuff and proper design. I think they could be one of the more sought after ones. Restarted my game after 2 years, less than 400 kills of all animals, and I got a great one moose on Reventuli. If you had to guess, how many moose did you shoot in that time frame? Just pure morbid curiosity. Just missed that second hard shot. Do you take out all the males when herd managing, even twos? I guess if you're calling what I'm doing herd managing, then yes. I don't use what is typically called herd management, but if you're equating grinding to herd managing, then yeah, I just kill everything. The reason is, I don't like the idea of taking advantage of the game's own mechanics. It's more or less an exploit. And for me, it's not worth like my reputation over. Like, if I do manage to get certain things, are you really supposed to think that I might not use another exploit to get something else? For the entire time I've played Call of the Wild, going back to the very beginning when I maybe played more than almost anybody else, I definitely played more than anybody else in the content creation sphere, and literally every single video, comments of like, you're obviously cheating, the devs are spawning stuff in for you, because I played like 12 hours a day, I had nothing better to do in my apartment. So all these years of fending off, you know, accusations of cheating because I played a lot, to then just turn to a rather clear exploit to get certain things, I think that calls credibility of other stuff into question. What's up, Zanko? I'm good, man. How about you? Kinda, I don't know that I want to say, yeah, freeing is the right word. I feel bad saying it because I loved every minute hunting Reventulian doing that single player diamond challenge. It was a lot of fun. But it's cool to not be like, man, I could be grinding geese right now. Hey, just had fun. The hologram, thank you for the super chat. What are you looking forward to most in the new map, and what do you think the next map will be? It's inevitable that as soon as the new map is announced, we're already looking forward to the next one, right? What am I looking forward to most? I think the crocs are going to be fun. I'm intrigued with the hog deer. I really want to see what they're like. What do I think the next map will be? I don't know that I think anything, but I want it to be Greenland. You mean you don't just slip Jaxy a 20 for every diamond? Well, some of them. No. It's funny that people thought that, though. Like, I really do find it entertaining that I guess people thought the devs would give some of the content creators diamonds to, I don't know, make their content better? I think what has probably become pretty clear in the last, I don't know, 2-3 years, creative content that doesn't include diamonds often does better than content that does. Do you also have that bug where the muzzleloader shoots half a meter to the right at 150 meters? Can't say I have seen that one. So, I just heard a Mies. I don't know if he's actually here. Probably. What'll happen when you fast travel and get a call? Sometimes that call actually came from where you just were. But because that call came from down by where the lake is, yeah, we got a moose there. Hasn't been one there in a while. Ready to see a kangaroo just kick and yeet me off a cliff? I don't know what that one... You know that one picture that EW had on the Steam page? I know I've used it in a number of videos. It's like a... It's almost like a rock pillar. I don't know if you could get up on something like that, but if a kangaroo kicked you off of that, that could be pretty hilarious. EW confirmed the muzzleloader glitch. Which muzzleloader? Why Greenland? Muskox. That's the main reason. They should do the next map off animals that escape from the wild here in California? That or Florida? Does herd management affect great ones? It's unknown. There are people who think it absolutely does not matter. The great ones are entirely random. There's people, myself included, that are not so sure about that. I say that because generally people who herd manage seem to get way more great ones. However, it should also be pointed out those who herd manage are often doing more grinding than most, so there's really not a proper sample size to say either way. A plateau? The thing I'm talking about I don't think was a plateau. It's funny that some people actually pay for diamonds and rares. Is that like the trading thing, but do people pay for it? I know everybody paid for it. How do I say your name? Is it Risson? Risson? Something like that? Frog Vibes in here as well. What's going on, man? The Discord notification just came through? Perfect. When even Discord notifications are failing you, it's not good. Alright, we're going to switch back to Layton. I wanted to check that spot, but it's going to take forever to get there. I actually think a Florida invasive species map could be pretty cool. I like the idea. Could turn out pretty neat. Guy who thought up stacking has 50 plus great ones? I mean, if I know who you mean, he also does a ton of great one grinding, if we're going still on the whole does herd management affect great one spawns. So that has to be considered as well. The fact that stacking makes herd management more effective, the whole thing makes it hard to tell what's going on. Herd managers have more efficient grinds, which give more great ones. That runs contrary to the idea that... well, first of all, I agree with what you're saying more or less. But it runs contrary to the idea that great one spawns are random, because herd managers, by definition, kill less animals per run. Now, they may play for longer hours and therefore kill more, like pretty much anybody that's herd managing has more moose kills than me, because I haven't done that much grinding. But because they leave stuff, they have to kill less stuff. Is cinnamon rare for brown bear? No, it's a common. Glad you're switching to Layton after my 70-hour Medved moose grind. I can't stand that map anymore. Yeah, that was why I came to Layton initially. It wasn't the numbers on Medved, those were fine. It was just like, I didn't want to be there. Like, I didn't even want to moose grind anymore. Do you think I should move my moose grind to Layton because of the home range? I don't even know what you mean by that. Home range? I kind of remember him saying something about a home range. Because of pop resets or something? Where did that moose just go? I'm trying to spot all through the... There's a chance he's... Oh, there he is. Will this shot just hit the water? Yup. Luckily he's far enough away that he didn't spook. We'll get there eventually. Medved hurts the eyes? It does, honestly. Alright, listen, fella. If you don't move, I'm just going to try to shoot you in the head. It drowned. Alright, that's enough. I shot over its head? It's like 200 meters away. I aimed at the top. That's better. And that fella will be here for a little while claiming stuff, but we got some meese. Moose can dive underwater in real life? True. Realism? Holy. Opinion on the new map? I am pretty excited. I like the species they've chosen. I like the idea of there being multiple biomes. The whole, it's a map, not a reserve, is interesting to me. I'm still really not sure why that's so relevant. What did Beard say? It's, private property or something? He said on stream. I even talked about it in my video and I forget, but it was something like that. Have you noticed most diamonds are really uneven? I have noticed that at least some species that tends to be the case. Moose, you get a lot of uneven diamonds? Favorite map / reserve? Layton's my favorite, and a lot of it is just nostalgia. This was the map that I spent by far the most time on in the first couple years till Verhunga came out. Or really a year and a half. It's kind of the same thing. Like, I really like Logger's Point in the Hunter Classic for basically the same reason. I was a guest in the Hunter Classic for a lot of years, and if you don't know what that means, it used to be membership based. You used to have a membership to hunt certain, like, species, or every species except for mule deer at one time. So, I would... This isn't the gun I want. I was gonna shoot that pathetically tiny whitetail. I don't know if that's gonna be a lung or not. Anyway, I would do nothing but hunt Logger's Point. So, all that time spent hunting that map, it kind of is still one of my favorites. Do you think the devs will add more vehicles? The only thing I could maybe see if the community really made a big deal out of it, and I don't think they're going to, but Way the Hunter added the side-by-side. I love the side-by-side in Way the Hunter. It's a lot of fun to zip around in. If the community would have really made a big deal of it, like what happened with turkeys, I could have seen it happening, but considering that was several months ago and nobody's really talked about it much, I don't think they're going to. Drones? It could be cool to capture some video footage with drones. Would you ever do a video on Red Dead 2 hunting? I actually have. Maybe 3, 4 videos, something like that. Not too many, but I did it a bit. Would still say bipods for rifles? If they did them properly, I think it could be good. So there's a rifle in the Hunter Classic. It's actually the 7mm Mod 8. It has a bipod built in, and when you're prone, you're required to use it. You have no choice. The game just makes you use it. And that's going to be Hollow Chamber for sure. They did it so that it's realistic in the sense that if you're sitting on uneven ground, or laying, since you have to be prone, the gun will also be uneven. Like, the crosshairs will be, you know, at an angle, which I can't really display here, but usually, if you're on anything less than pretty level ground, you can't even aim at the animal you're trying to kill. So it's more of a hindrance than a useful feature of the gun. If they did it where it's optional, I think it could work. Are you looking forward to the new map? How'd you know I drive a Ford? Yes, I am. He rode Ford, okay? Kyla's over there shaking her head like I made that up. It was good. What would you recommend for moose? Are we grinding moose? If so, 300 or 338. 300 I think is a little bit better. Is that a dead moose laying there? Nope, that's a live moose. The Hollow Ground, thank you for the super chat again. Let's see if we can get Sir 12 on this track, because I don't know where we are. Do you prefer diamonds to be uneven or even? I shot a diamond red deer and it looks just ridiculous. If it has the one small rack and one big rack, I frankly hate what those look like. I prefer even diamonds. The thing about it is, when you look at most antlered animals in real life, at first glance, or if you don't look that closely, they all kind of appear to be pretty even. But the longer that you look at any antlered animal, they're all relatively uneven in one way or another. Like my 14 point, it's a 7x7. It's got stickers on both G2s and both G3s. And when you start to really break it down, all those things are in such different spots. The main beams are almost the same length, but they don't even end nearly the same place. Like one main beam, if you like drew a line straight out from the forehead, it's almost center of the forehead. One flares straight out. Now score-wise, it's just the measurement of the beam itself, so it doesn't really matter. They end up with very little deduction, but it's actually a pretty uneven deer despite at first glance looking, for a deer with 180 inches of antler and 14 points, incredibly even. Even though low-key level 7 red deer racks are better than diamond racks, 100%. They should have stopped the design right there and made those diamonds. Guess that one that Warning called back here spooked. Is there a track nearby? We can make sure it's not a great one. What calibers from Classic do you want to call the Wild? The 7mm Mod 8, because I hunt with it in real life. It's a classic weapon I'd love to see in Call the Wild. What else? Car 98 wouldn't be a terrible idea. We have the Mosin. Oh, 4570 Buffalo. Give me that. Give me that for the new cows on Emerald Coast. Did you taxidermy your IRL 14 point? I'm only going to say this, not necessarily for you, but for anybody that may misinterpret what you mean. I didn't do it myself, but I did take it to a taxidermist and got a shoulder mount. Oh, good. He's going to float all the way here. It's actually like a shoulder pedestal mount. Do you know what I mean by that? There's a picture of it on my community tab if you want to check it out. So weird to me that an animal goes to level 9 for red deer? We were talking about that in a recent stream. For the sake of simplicity, and for the sake of making it easier for new players to understand how the game works. I really wish that didn't happen. Might be able to just jump out from this side. Never mind, he's floating over the center now. Go to Rebentulikos for moose. Probably won't on this stream, but we may end up doing some moose grinding there at some stage. Can use the 6.5 from time to time again. Next time that we go to, like, maybe Tay or Parquet, maps like that, I should bring it. If Mountain Goat were still in the same places on Silver Ridge Peaks, we'd actually take it there. That was one of my favorite hunts we ever did. I don't know that we killed anything special, but we were taking like 400-meter shots with that 6.5 consistently, and it's just so flat shooting. It was a really just enjoyable hunt, but they're not in those areas anymore, and you don't get those types of shot opportunities much. Level 9 red deer is way unrealistic, at least for what's supposed to be a wild red deer. Yeah, they're too big. Playing Yukon and watching your stream at the same time? Hopefully my moose calls don't confuse you. Oi, how dare you. Nope, guessed that one wrong. Well, at least he's running this way, it'll make the tracking easier. Problem is, there's a little bit of water in between. Probably still have to run less distance than if we dropped him. What's that, man? I'm missing something there. On the topic of red deer, I'm excited for the revamp. We haven't seen anything for them yet, so I really wonder if it's not done or if it's like really good and that's going to be a major, like, hey, let's let the community discover this because everybody's going to be really excited to see it. I'm surprised when we did the Fallow Great One stream and we got to see everything revealed there. I'm surprised they didn't do it then. I feel like the 6.5 is weak compared to the one in real life. Yeah, you could say that for a lot of guns, and then there's a couple of guns that are too powerful in the game, but it's always going to be a balanced thing. And the problem is, what can always happen in adding, you know, different weapons to a game, the devs can say like, yeah, we wanted these particular 6.5 loads are loaded pretty light. We wanted them to be, you know, more for like deer and stuff. Whereas something that's maybe overpowered in the game, the inline muzzleloader, or not even, the cap lock muzzleloader would be a really good example of that. The devs could always be like, yeah, this is meant to be a particularly hot, I can't even say load because it's not a round as muzzleloaders are in the same way, but they could say that they wanted it to be for big games, so it's, you know, it's more propellant and everything. Any rares today? We actually shot it at this particular spot we're going back to, a melanistic gold moose. The reason we haven't seen the red deer revamp may be because it's the Great One revamp. Do you think they would change the way the Great Ones look? I didn't say it that way, Space Cowboy. That's why I was stumbling over my words. I was trying to find a way to say it different. Don't be misinterpreting my stuff now. Favorite rare in the game minus the melanistic pheasant. They do look incredible. They are up there on the list. I like the leucistic pheasant too. I don't know if I can pick one that I would say is necessarily better than melanistic pheasant, so maybe that would be my favorite as well. Alright, it's a little early. Let's do the coast run down here. If you know, when will the next lodge tour be? I used to do one every 6 months. Probably the reason I only do them yearly now is because the lodge is generally pretty full. Like, we don't get to add as many new things to that lodge now as we did 3 years ago. So it'll probably be in December. I guess there's a chance if we were to, you know, get to a point where we have every diamond from Emerald Coast and maybe we get a couple of great ones, then I would consider doing a tour earlier. Are there any real-life hunting techniques or strategies that you've learned from playing the game? I don't know necessarily about techniques or strategies. I do feel very strongly that it's actually specifically grinding. I think it's helped me with shot placement. I was going to do a video on this, and maybe one day I still will. But it occurred to me when I shot, I think, my second doe of this past hunting season. Was it that one? I know where I shot it. I know where I was hunting at. Yeah, it would have been the second doe. So I was getting ready to pull the trigger. I was just, like, it was almost to that point where I'm going to go ahead and fire. That's a big one. Nice size 4. Possibly a long shot. Possibly a diamond. We'll see. And okay, back to story time. So I'm just about to pull the trigger on this doe, and I realized just the way she was standing, it was a little bit more of a quartering angle than it looked, and I made that adjustment just before taking the shot, ended up shooting her through the heart. I think that it's these quick follow-up shots when grinding for moose, whitetail, red deer, whatever it is, where subconsciously you have to make the determination like, okay, this thing's quartering a little bit, this shot has to be further forward so we can get both lungs, or so we can get a lung, whatever it is. It's a really fast kind of mental calculation that you're making, and I think that helps with real-life shot placement, because you do notice those things like, oh, there's a quartering angle here, I gotta put the shot further forward, or anything like that. Never fully understood the reason 12 is such a big thing on the channel. What's up with that? As we say around here, 12 is 12, but that was a good one. 270. The full story behind it is basically one of my moderators getting banned by Discord themselves because we used to say he was 12 even though he wasn't 12. It was kind of great. That's one that Bottom Boys talked about before. Taking a second to lower your heart rate before topping hills and stuff like that. So obviously we're running here. If you look in the bottom right, our heart rate monitor is pretty high. And if we were to crest a hill and there's a diamond standing right there ready to run, we're going to aim, and the crosshairs are going to be all over the place because our heart rate's too high. So if we weren't tracking a moose right now, we're just regularly hunting. Slowing down for just a second before we got there would be much more preferable. I'm missing something. Oh, when's the DLC coming when you're a deer shooting humans for sport? If you go back to a game called Deer's Revenge from probably about 2005 or so, you can do it right now. What do you think about adding UTVs into the game for 4 people in multiplayer? That's kind of what I was getting at with Way the Hunter having added the side-by-sides. I think if EW was going to add something like that, it would require significant input from the community asking for it, which I haven't seen anybody asking for it, so I don't think we'll see it. You said it helped with shooting that doe. How realistic do you think the hunting mechanics and animal AI are in Call of the Wild compared to real-life hunting? Most of it's not that realistic. It depends on the type of hunting you're doing. Like, if you're more of a spot and stock hunter in real life, some of what you do in Call of the Wild might be a little bit more realistic, but generally speaking, if you're running around like this in real life, if an animal sees that, it's gone. The next thing is, if you're running around like this in Call of the Wild and then just stop, that animal will go back to calm. You're basically never going to get a deer that like sees you and then just goes back to calm. Maybe if it's just like the tiniest little thing that it catches, it might calm back down. But if it really catches you moving, it's going to walk around, it's going to keep doing that head bob thing. It's never going to let you move, basically. It may get out of the area eventually and calm down elsewhere, but it's not going to feed right in front of you. I'd say most stuff with the game is more on the arcadey side. Deer Avenger was the game where you were a deer hunting people. It was extremely funny and quite fun. I think there's two different games. I'm pretty sure Deer's Revenge is the one I played. I might have been 12 though and not know how to pronounce Avenger. What arrows do you use in real life? The last couple of years I've been using, I'm going to call them TK's arrows, but I believe he technically sold the company to Hunter's Friend Europe, so like, I think he still makes them, but I don't know that it's like his company per se. Anyway, they're Meat Seeker arrows. Let me go back here. In 2021, I used the Longbusters. They're 6mm arrows, or .244 millimeter, 0.242 inch diameter. I'm trying to math in my head here. Yeah. In 2022, I used the Stingers, which are 5mm. I don't even know the 0.22 inches maybe. This year I'm going back to the 6mm, not because I didn't like the Stingers, I actually really liked them, but because if you watched the video on the Meat Hunters channel with those rechargeable lighted nocks, they are called... What are they called? Let me look that up because I really like the product and I want to see if I can... Oh good, a Chrome update, just in time for me to need to use Chrome. Why can't I think of what that was called? Meat Hunters Knock. Is that gonna work? Smart Knock, that's what it was. So it's rechargeable, it's got like all these great features, and I want to get to use them this year, but they are only available in 6mm arrow size. Deer's Revenge is a game, it has the antlers on screen as you play. Did it? See, this is so long ago I can't remember for sure. Do you miss Zag Tactics? Not really. So this is one of those things where it's kind of like an exploit, but it's a community accepted exploit. Kind of like herd management, but I would say Zag Tactics was less impactful. The thing itself didn't really allow people to get that many more diamonds or anything, because you still had to find the tracks, you still had to track the animals down, all that good stuff. What it did do was really take away a lot of the hunting. It became a racing game in the sense that like you wanted to just buzz around and click as many tracks as you could, wait until you clicked a potential diamond track, and then track that down, and everything else that wasn't a potential diamond you would ignore. And the reason that I think that was a big deal, something that would be a max weight estimate track now, say an 85 to 100 whitetail, it may be an 86 kilo gold. Right now you don't know that, you gotta track it down to find it. Then it's at 86 kilo, you know it's a gold, you don't have to track it. So it really limited the amount of things you would track, and actually I think it made it harder to make content, because you didn't have these moments right here. You didn't have like, you know, hunting along, oh, max weight moose, let's track that. You know what it is, you know it's not a diamond. It's hard to be like, well, let's track that, I guess it's a nice gold. I have a bow signed by Michael Waddell and T-Bone, if you know who they are. Of course I know who they are. Bone collectors, and what was the... There was another show they did where T-Bone was like a... He would play it up as like a redneck that didn't know how to shoot his bow or nothing, and then he would just shoot really well. What was that called? It may have been a Bone Collector segment, actually. I don't think it was. No, that was for Realtree. I don't know. Alligators are way too difficult. I have the worst luck ever with them. Well, the good news is, apparently, crocs are going to have a different kind of AI than gators. And along with that, gators are supposed to get that new AI. So maybe they'll be better. There were 4 Deer Avenger games? Holy... Hey, get out of here. There's a bunch of big moose down here this run. That's interesting. Encouraging, but interesting. Might be wondering why the heck I just did that. Because that aggressive one is trying to get us. I wanted to get this dude alert and where we could get a shot at him. Problem was, it didn't really work. Oi. Come back. Now that I can see you. Ah. He stopped like a step before I thought he was gonna. I don't even know if that got along. I guess it did. Should collab IRL with the hunting public? I mean, if I ever got the opportunity, that'd be pretty cool. I would probably need to get better at hunting public land, though. Not to say they couldn't, like, you know, take an approach of showing a private lane hunter how to hunt public. Not that I've never hunted public, but I'm just not that great at it. Are we talking about TK and Mike's comedy hunting show? I don't know. You don't mean, Jimmy Big Time, do you? That was a comedy hunting show. There was a third guy, too? Probably Nick Munt? If I had to guess between those... the two that you have? Or two that you have listed? Bryce, thank you for the super chat. Do you know what a Quiet Cat is, and do you think it should be added as a paid DLC for Quiet Transport? Are those bikes? The battery-powered bikes? I'm going to say that just adding e-bikes or whatever you'd call them, maybe no. If they got like some kind of partnership with them, though, I think that would be really cool. I do feel that, and maybe there's good reason for it, I'm sure there is. I do feel that EW kind of is missing the opportunity to kind of have some partnership with real brands that might, you know, bridge that gap a little bit for people. Those are the ones? Okay, proud of myself. Do you remember Hunting Simulator 2? And if so, what is your thoughts on it? I do. I have probably a higher opinion, actually, of Hunting Sim 2 than a lot of people. I think the player model is pretty good. The gun models and the gun system is fantastic. I love that you can choose a particular, like, I'll say style of gun for simplicity's sake, and get it in whatever caliber you want. More or less. The dog and its mechanics, they could have been better, but they were okay. The problem was the hunting sucked. Like, the animal models weren't that good. The animal behaviors are pretty poor. Tracking animals kind of meh. They kind of, like, they had these sponsorships with Browning and I think one other gun manufacturer. They also had sponsorships with some of the clothing companies. I'm trying to think what that, Cryptech maybe? And some others. And best I can tell, they put a ton of time and effort and resources into making those models of the equipment items and clothing and such look great. And no surprise, because those people are literally paying to have their stuff in the game. Like, it better look good, right? However, not nearly enough or not nearly as much time and care and effort and resources went into actually making the animals and the hunting part of it, and that just kills the entire game. That said, the reason that I did as much Hunting Sim 2 content as I did was because I always felt if they did put a little more effort into the animals and the mechanics and stuff, they've actually got the basis of a really good game. So I kept on trying to, like, you know, make content, try to find a way to enjoy the game, but you can only see the same not deer-looking deer so many times until you just kind of go and do something else. How long did it take you to get so big on YouTube? I guess it depends on at what stage you consider big, but I've been at it for a little over 8 years now. Barry, thank you for the super chat. Why is hunting gators so difficult? Please send help. I don't know why they designed them that way, but there's a couple of things I've found to be decently effective. One is, if it's not a gator that you really want in your trophy lodge, like if you're, for instance, grinding gators, or if you don't care what they score, just shoot them with like the 300. That actually does decently well. When it comes to one you do want, either 2 shots with the 7mm, the bolt action, the new one that's come out, or 2 shots with a 454, typically I am able to get them down without losing them. What was that? It's not a great one. I can tell by the antler size. It looked funny. I guess not. It was, the way the lighting looked, it looked gray to me. Oh, who's warning calling in there? What's up, ZBG? The grind is going. We shot a Melon at gold here on Layton, so that was a nice touch. But, no great ones, no diamonds, no trolls today. Ooh, that felt like a hard shot. Nice. Did we get the lung on the second one? Because I kind of overly rushed that. That one that warning called on our left may just run up around right in front of us and give us a shot, so better be ready. Shot a piebald diamond moves. Nice, man. I love the piebald moves. They look good. They aren't hunt them on the banks and go for next shots. If you're confident enough to make the next shots, that's not a big deal, but frankly, I'm not even always confident enough to make those shots. I think I've gotten better at it, but I wouldn't say I'm good at it. This dude knows how to use a tree as a barrier. I don't know. Might hit him one more time. What map? This is Layton Lakes. I do go for next shots, but I'm very unlucky. I used the 308. That's one of the better options you can go with as far as penetration, so I'd say you're using about the right gun. No, I know, Josh, but for the sake of my own experience hunting gators. Didn't you just delete the zone? Shouldn't have, because the other moose I shot at was over here. I also didn't kill it, I guess. I'm not too worried about these zones down here because there's a ton of moose. They really don't have anywhere to go like they might. Oh, we did get them. And that deleted the zone. There you go. They may move up to here, but like there's nowhere these moose are going to go that's not a place I already grind. So it doesn't matter if I delete the zone. When you delete a zone, they don't just go anywhere. They'll go somewhere relatively nearby. If it's got to be this body of water, which is hidden, but you can see the hunting pressure there, there is a lake there, or down here to the coast, it doesn't affect it because we're still going to go there. What gun's the best for killing moose? I would say the 300 from the Yukon Valley DLC, but it is kind of down to personal preference. I know a couple people actually like the 338 better. Play the night shot albino male lion. Nice. One of, I think, the coolest rares in the game. Okay, we got 2 there. Where did the heart shot one go? I kind of forgot about that. And we gotta track that other one that we hit poorly for like 12 years. Maybe he floated across? Would you consider a brown hybrid diamond Canada goose rare? Rare in the sense that it's a diamond goose. I mean, getting a diamond goose of any kind isn't always super easy, but the brown hybrid part of it is just basically as common as a regular common. I can't even call them uncommon. You see so many of them. There's gotta be a blood track in here somewhere. The last place we spotted it was right back there. I think that's blood. That is blood. Shot an albino gold brown bear? Nice. Did SRP ever get a backfill animal? Been a bit since I played, and I forgot if they ever did. No, so they initially said blacktail. And then it kind of didn't make the most sense. It's not really the right area to have blacktail added, so they decided against doing that. I wouldn't have hated it if they did it, but it would have felt a little bit off for them to be there. Got 5 coyote, 2... It's a male, isn't it? Okay. Worth checking. Ready for a fallow deer great one? I think it's going to be cool to see those combinations pop up. I'm sure with fallow deer being fallow deer, day one there's going to be quite a lot shot. Hope we get lion or a wolf great one next. Because they're not a base game animal, I don't necessarily expect it. But I mean, you never know. Maybe they finally say, hey, we're going to start adding non-base game animals. Are we ever going to Yukon moose grind? Depends on how the rest of the grinding goes, I guess. If we get a great one moose, heck, if we go to Medved and kill one in 5 minutes, then no. If we're still grinding for a great one moose in August, we'll probably be on Yukon and Reventuli and everywhere else. Okay, so there should be a heart shot moose somewhere. Or did I claim it? I don't think I did. Hasn't floated over there. There he is. Okay. This is a job for a four-wheeler. Mostly because we only have 20 minutes left in the stream, and I want to do as much of a last Medved run as we can. How many keyboards has Kyla went through? Her keyboard clacks. It's a nice mechanical keyboard, but it's pretty loud. Mine's also mechanical, and I think they have the same switches. I don't know if I don't type as aggressively or what, but I don't think mine's quite that loud. Maybe you're really trying to be efficient with your typing time. Okay, at this point I almost could have just run across. Come on, Sir 12. We're going on a mission. I found a 5 medium plains bison, but only had my Miller model, whatever it is, Miller shotgun, with slugs. So I ran after him for 4 kilometers. In the end, he turned and I got a perfect shot. Did he end up making diamond? How do you go into third person? On keyboard mouse, it's C. Woo! I guess you shouldn't do that when you're not looking, though. Kyla goes to war with her keyboard. What's the Taylor Swift song? The Great War? Look at me go. It's always amazed me how you get traction like you're on ice in this game. Okay, get rid of this stupid thing. Drown that. Get this. We should change the time. I find that it's best to change the time on not the map that you're going to. If you are about to switch maps anyway. Just seems like your animals are in their spots sooner. Only got 20 minutes, so I'm not going to bother going back exactly to 1400. One last little Medved run. The ATVs have slicks on? They got something. Wombats would have been a decent idea. Are they hunted? Like, is that a thing that people hunt? Medved, indeed. We have been coerced? Convinced? Into doing a little bit of Medved grinding as well. It started on Friday's live stream over on Twitch. I don't know exactly why it came up. But basically, we were just talking about how Layton wasn't really working. Went to Medved. Ended up killing what was a very tiny piebald. Level 2, so even smaller than this guy. And then it was just kind of like, maybe we should grind both. So we're just going to try it a little bit. Maybe we'll do this next stream or two, and then we'll probably commit to one or the other, but it's a nice little change. Wombats are not hunted. Well, I went to hug a wombat. Do you follow Formula 1? I probably couldn't tell you a single thing about Formula 1 other than the fact that F1 stands for Formula 1. Thinking of starting a Great One grind for Red Deer on Te Awaroa. Any tips? I've never done a Red Deer grind on Te. I did mine on Quattro. Te is a better map, especially now that Red Deer drink in the daylight. Tips though, what I would say is go around, probably check every body of water if you can. See if you can find like the best. You can play some max of 16 tents, right? See if you can find the best like 16 spots where you can see the red deer well, where maybe there's a lot of stags. Place tents and tripods at those areas. I would do that first. And then you start to what I would describe as develop a route. And by that I mean there's going to be a few spots usually where your red deer are always in the zones on time. They're there. You don't have to worry about it. They're never late. those are going to be the spots you're going to go to first. And you're going to also find that probably some of your zones, they're going to get there like at the end of their time. Now I was talking to, was it Zeppy? He was saying that red deer don't seem to get into their zones late. So you may not encounter that with red deer as much as other species. But even still, you're probably going to find like a most efficient route. And it's just, you got to change it up. Try different things. Actually, apparently wombats can be hunted but require permits. Destruction permit. Oh, like, so you can, here in Pennsylvania, if you're a farmer and you make your living on the farm, you can get like it may be a destruction permit for, like if a deer is, or if a lot of deer are tearing up your cornfields and stuff. What's better for raccoon dogs, New Zealand or Rebentuli? They're only on Rebentuli, so I guess I would have to say Rebentuli. The new map's making me want to get back into this game. I'd say it's a good time for it. With the Great One Fallow Deer coming, the Truax coming for Springbuck, Plains Bison, and Euro Bison. Obviously the new map, the 8 new species, the reworks to a bunch of stuff. It's red deer, fallow deer, feral goat. Are those just, it's those 3 that are getting reset for reworks. Gators having some AI stuff, they're getting reset. The 3 Truax species I mentioned are getting reset. Mel had the list. I might have got them all. Ag damage? Yeah, same concept then. What's your stream schedule? Can we do a schedule command in chat? I had no footstep sounds today, as well as no sounds from calling my dog, or using some of the callers. Do you know if I can solve it faster without restarting it? I mean, you could try, like, loading onto another map and see if that does anything, but I imagine you just have to restart the game. That's not a bad moose. I don't know where they're going, but they'll figure it out. Is you want another dog? Because mine won't stop barking. Don't say that in front of Kyla. She does want another dog. She was looking at new dogs yesterday.
Oh my gosh, they were blue healer puppies.
Poor Shadow does not want attention taken off of her.
I want a dog that loves me.
She does.
No, she doesn't. Not like she loves you. There's a difference.
It's not my fault.
Just saying. I get thrown up 5 times and she doesn't like me. Okay.
I think she just likes that I take her out in the middle of the night. What's up, Hades? Just have a kid? Yeah, that's a not major decision to make. Gonna have 12 dogs in a year. Next thing I know, Shadow's gonna be just a part of the litter. I don't know that Shadow is spoiled by me. Not more so than anybody else. She's most spoiled by my parents. The amount of... I've told this before, but like during the week, so we go up there like every Sunday. And during the week, I'm guessing maybe from Wednesday on, if they're making something for dinner that maybe has like, you know, if they're trimming some fat off of meat or whatever, Dad will keep some of that and then like cook it up for Shadow when we get there. Complete spoiled rotten. Can confirm having a child is not like having a dog at all. Are you sure? I don't believe you. What's the best weapon pack in your opinion? I think it's probably still the modern weapons pack, though the hunter power pack is good. Honorable mention, although apparently the AR-22 has all the same capabilities of the 22 Virant outside of magazine size. I don't know when they made that change. Some of you guys pointed that out in the last stream and I was like, nope, that's not correct. And then I tried it and it is correct. But honorable mention would be the 22 Virant specifically from the Weapon Pack 1 DLC. The other weapons, the recurve and the crossbow, are just there. But the 22 Virant is very nice. Is buying all the DLC worth it? Depends on how much you play the game. If you're playing the game a ton, then it probably is worth it. If you are just getting into the game, not sure about it yet, I wouldn't buy all of them. Anything cool today? We killed a gold melanistic moose over on Layton. 225, I think it was pretty cool. A chocolate healer. I don't even know what a chocolate healer is. Is that just a healer and chocolate lab mix or something? Just got a diamond whitetail and Mela back-to-back on Rancho with initial spawns. There you go. There are a ton of whitetail on Rancho. I remember, what was it for? They reset. It may have been just with Rancho they did the pop resets and redistributions. I went there and had 2 albino whitetail maybe at the same lake. They were almost back-to-back. Of course, I had to break my ankle right before summer, so it looks like I can play Call of the Wild for the next 6 weeks. Much like when my brother got COVID and had to miss work the first day of rifle season. There are worse times to have stuff like that happen. Do you think the 470 King is just a waste of money? Basically. It's unfortunate, but it's just not a good gun in like any way. It's not even like, you know, the sights suck and it's not accurate, but it's super powerful. It's not. It's maybe a touch more powerful than the 300. At that point, why would you not just use the 300? You know what I mean? Do you have any other jobs besides YouTube? Content creation as a whole, like YouTube, Twitch, the whole thing, that's been my full-time job since January of 2018, I think. .454 will do what the 470 will? Basically, yeah. When's the new map coming? And there's no gun. There is a new gun. There's a 22-250 coming with it, I believe. When we don't have an official release date, there's no EW stream this week. So I don't know when we'll get a release date, but maybe a week from tomorrow we'll find out. 470 is like a gun to do a challenge with? Yeah, that's the way I look at it. Like, there's a lot of guns that are maybe left behind in Call of the Wild terms. Like, you know, not a ton of people use the M1 anymore because the 308 is just a slightly better version of it. So every now and then I like to get guns like that and just take them on a hunt. And I will use the 470. We took it to Hirschfelden for Eurobison and stuff. It's a fun little challenge thing. It is in no way a more practical choice than literally like anything else. What classes do you think the new gun will be? I don't know that I've talked about that yet. So there was a little back and forth we had in one of these streams where we basically were saying, like, is it going to be a varmint rifle or is it maybe going to be like a, I'll call it small big game rifle. So like your black buck access to your things in that class. I thought it was going to be a varmint rifle. I thought it would be the same as the 22H classes 1 and 2, but slightly more powerful, probably with more penetration. Because they're buffing the 223 to make the 22-250 make more sense, I think it's going to be 2 to 4 like the 223. I remember the hype of the Mosin, now it's in none of my loadouts. The Mosin was the greatest thing to come to Call of the Wild. I mean, it was the best gun for literally everything. I remember, I don't know if you guys know Sean Johns, he was or maybe still is, one of Jaxy's moderators. One of my moderators for a long time. I think he's still a mod here on YouTube, so if he shows up, yeah, because I always notice his name, he stands out when he joins. He had a video of shooting a diamond lion with it. Just shot it in the brain. It was so absurdly accurate. This is back when you could make brain shots and stuff. Oftentimes, it was a better option to heart shot a moose, brain shot a lion, brain shot a drinking elk, whatever, than attempt to make like a lung shot or even a spine shot. I don't know if the spine shot still worked then. That might have been when they made spine shots not a insta-kill. But it was often better to just go for those, you would argue, more difficult shots because it was so darn accurate. I miss the M1, I just can't control it with a controller enough to choose it over the 308. The M1 is, I feel like, sometimes I almost wish I shot my Great One Whitetail with it, because it's almost just Call of the Wild history now. I think he moved his head just when we shot, and that made us miss the... Wow! Leapfrogging moose, imagine that. Okay, nice animation there. 1 to 4? Maybe. That would... 1 to 3, maybe. I can't imagine a gun being 1 to 4. Being able to shoot a quarter-kilo quail and a... What's the biggest class 4 animal? I'll go with whitetail. I bet there's something bigger if I really thought about it. And 100 kilo whitetail, that seems impossible. Russell, thank you so much for the super chat. Will there be a, I don't know what FFP site is introduced as the sites need upgrading? We spent a lot of time looking through them. If I could really get my brain to work, I remember a conversation about this in the official Discord, but I don't know what an FFP site is. Diamond Row got me going crazy. 5 trolls? Really? I never, like, I feel bad when I say this, but I think you're a victim of just terrible luck, because roe deer don't troll that much. Best money map? Rev and Thule or Te Awaroa. Yeah, I would say you got a good point there with Rev. Te Awaroa's got so many fallow deer on it and stuff, though, it could make an argument there. First focal plane. I don't even know what that is. Do you also not know what that means, Bottom Boy? I'm glad I'm not the only one. What about 12 focal plane? Spotted a level 4 feral goat the other day, and while spotting it, its antlers twirled in place. What? Sounds a little broken. I just saw that picture, your 273 albino whitetail. That was a big one. What's up, RTX? Just taking our time getting to the tripod. I don't have a clue what first focal plane means. Okay, so it's not just me being dumb. I know sometimes I'm not like the most knowledgeable about like guns and ballistics and all that good stuff. I always say, I might not know exactly the inner workings of how it works, but I generally can make the bullet hit where I want when it comes to like guns, bows, those sort of things. I like the whole FOC thing with bows, though I do understand it much better now. In the past, people would ask me like what my FOC is. I'm like, dude, I don't know. I can make the arrow hit the target. That's all I need to know. The sight dots are accurate at all magnification. I think I might get it. Okay. So let me explain something to you. You can tell me if I'm correct. When you use the 45 air rifle in the Hunter Call the Wild, with the Argus scope, the mil dots, this isn't the Argus, but the mil dots represent a drop of 25 meters if you're zoomed in all the way. If you're not zoomed in all the way, it's different. It's like 50 meters or something. Is that what you're talking about? Where it would be 25 meters regardless of zoom? Google says adjustable reticles. I think we might still be talking about the same thing. It's spun on its head? That's bizarre. Scope style where the reticle zooms in and gets larger as magnification increases? I'd almost feel like that's the opposite of what I want. Same thing-ish? Okay. I'm kind of semi-grasping it. Better than I was a moment ago anyway. We killed 2, right? Did we drop one? Because I don't see any more blood. Russell says yes. I missed that till just now. I mean, it would be really useful. Especially, hello there. Especially guns like the 22, the 45 air rifle, as I mentioned. Some of these things that are actually like, they rely on using the mil dots to be able to use effectively at range. It would be nice. Spital blood right there. I don't see a dead moose though, so where'd he go? There's the next spot of blood. Maybe he just went down quickly? I'll stick with my normal scopes if that's the case. If they don't hinder anything, I think it'd be good. What is happening here? Oh. I can't even get over the rocks. I don't blame him. There we are. Alright, it's 4:59. Let's see if we can get this moose claimed and then maybe jump to one last spot. I don't even know where one last spot may be, but we'll try. Whole bunch of know-nothings in here, but we'll learn something while being 12. Oh, being wrong 12. If we're collectively 12, one of us will figure it out. Any idea when Australia will be coming to Call of the Wild? Just based on past EW release schedules, probably the end of this month, but that doesn't mean that they won't do something completely different this time. Every map, outside of like delays for console, every map has come out for the summer, but between like June 20th and June 30th for like 3 or 4 years straight. Now where did this guy go? I found a reason to stick with Layton. I have a hard time seeing the tracks on this map. New challenge, a red deer, great one on Germany. I'll leave that to someone who has more will to grind than me. I definitely will not do that or stick with it for very long. You ever see level 4 diamond mule deer? Because I got one. I know they're possible. I've seen a couple people get them, and typically they have a rack that I actually really like. I have never gotten one though. How many likes do you want on the stream? 12 sounds good. Chat's rolling, we're moving today. Spent a lot of time at the range and would like to hit a target at any distance instead of trying to sneak up till your target is in your set to 0. Yeah, I think, especially for grinding and stuff, that can be really time-saving. Intriguing. Couple of good ones. These maps are really doing their best to make me consider grinding both of them. Because we just had the same thing happen on Layton. We killed a bunch of big 4s. Do you like Te Awaroa to shoot at? I mean, generally speaking, I like Te for kind of that exact thing. When I just want to go shoot a bunch of stuff, Te is where I'm headed. Fallow deer, red deer, hogs. There's guaranteed to be a lot of targets. Will you do an early access video for Emerald Coast? I mean, assuming there's going to be early access, and I believe Jaxy did say something about early access on one of the streams, so I imagine that pretty much confirms they're going to do it again. Then I hope to. Do you know who Gobbler's Nightmare is? I have seen that name. Where? I don't know, but I've seen the name. Any news on the release of the Great One Fallow besides what we already know? Nothing since that particular stream, and maybe the fact that, I think Jaxy said they're coming soon. So hopefully that means, as far as release date with the Emerald Coast, which is going to be the same update as the Great One Fallow, that it'll be in the next couple weeks. Multiplayer, he's a hacker / modder. So I've seen him in game, I guess? I know I've seen the name. How long do you think it'll take me to get a super rare fallow? Because I got a super troll. You never know. As one of those things where you're relying entirely on RNG, it could be the next fallow you kill. Could be literally tens of thousands. Are you going to grind for the Great One Fallow? I intend to. I really feel for the last 3 great ones, moose, black bear, and then fallow deer. Fallow deer feels like it should be the most achievable. I really feel like I should be able to get one. I intend to grind for them pretty hard. It's going to be over the summer, so when they do 2 great ones a year, as they do 2 maps a year, the summer one's the one where I have more time to play. The fall / winter one, it's in hunting season, so I really don't get to do much with it. So what I'm saying is, what I'd like to do is stream grinding a good bit, like really try to get one. Maybe if I get so lucky, get a Great One Fallow early on, and then get back to moose and bear grinding, and maybe get caught up. I'd love to have at least one of every great one. It's just, at the moment, we're not even close to that. I think we caught that cow on the back leg. Try to get the bull. Been playing the game 3 weeks and only 1 diamond. I think it took me... I killed my first diamond around Halloween of 2017. It took me 8 months to kill 1 diamond. And then another 3 or 4 months to get my second. Best map for grinding whitetail? I think it's Reventuli Coast personally, but to be fair, I haven't done a whitetail grind since 2020. So, I'm probably not the best person to ask. Well, gun I'm using right now, the 300. It's from the Yukon Valley DLC. It is a pretty darn good moose gun. I would generally say it's the best, like, big game rifle in the game. Best thing for Cape buffalo, water buffalo, bison, all those kind of big animals like that. Alright, where are we going here? This will probably be our last kill, by the way. Red deer on how many maps? If you count Emerald Coast, let's see. They are on Parquet, Quattro, Hirsch, Tay. It'll be 5. Alright, Sir 12. I don't know what's going on. You can figure this out. Good for something, I guess, other than get in front of our raccoon dogs. Oh, you're going to track the wrong thing, though. Nope, never mind. Come back. If you got every great one, what would you grind again? It's such a hypothetical question, I always have a hard time answering it. Let's say... Let's be super optimistic like we were earlier. After this stream, I get stupid lucky. I do a little more moose grinding and I kill a great one moose, okay? Fallow great ones come out maybe in the next few weeks. If I get stupid lucky and kill one early on, all I've got left is black bear. If I kill a great one black bear in like October, and I've got some time before another map comes out, what would I grind? I don't know that I'd grind anything. I'd probably just enjoy that I don't have to grind for a while. That would probably be my answer. Anyway, favorite great one, as a species moose, I really do like him. I really do want one. That's why we've stuck with it despite the struggles. But I guess we should take our mellow moose back to the lodge. Probably wouldn't be a terrible idea. Where's the grind lodge? Put him in a spot. Excited for great one fallow, even though I'll probably never achieve it. I don't know, of the what will now be 5 species to get great ones, I think fallow deer should be the most achievable for the average person because they can be so quickly and efficiently grinded for on Te Awaroa, and that's assuming that Emerald Coast isn't actually better for them. They could very well end up being better. I know this is off topic, but do you think you'll ever beat your IRL monster non-typical buck? In Pennsylvania, probably not. Maybe in the coming years I'll get the opportunity to hunt in other, like, states that tend to have more big bucks, and I may. We'll see. If I don't, I will not be upset in the slightest. Alright, I think on that note, that is gonna wrap up the stream. At least we got a nice rare. Actually killed a bunch of rares as of late between the two maps. We'll see. We'll see if we stick with going back and forth. I don't hate the idea of it. Maybe that just gives us one map to end up, you know, the great one's only 50 kills away and we get it done soon. But anyway, on that note, thank you guys for watching. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for all the support. And I will see you in tomorrow's video. We're going back to Classic. Back for some more Let's Go trophy hunting. We may or may not be putting a mule deer or two on the wall. Bye!